Alright guys, so for this one, we're going to still be working on writing equations of lines, but now you're giving us different information, right? So just to kind of recap this chapter, the first videos, we wrote equations when they gave you the slope and when they gave you the b or the y-intercept, right? That was the easiest, you just plug it in. Then the next video, we worked on finding the equation of a line when they give you the slope, and then they give you like another point on the line, right? In that case, we have to find the b and then plug it in, right? But you'll notice every time they always gave you the slope, right? What we're going to do today is they're not going to give us the slope at all. Today what they're going to give us are two different points on the line. Okay, so now they're giving us even less information, but we're going to work through it to still put it in y equals mx plus b slope-intercept form. Okay, so that's why this lesson is about writing the equation of a line given 2 points. Okay, so in this section we are going to extend what we learned previously. Earlier we were given two things. We already said that, right? The slope and a point. What if we were given even less information? This is where we're at. We have even less. No slope, no intercept, just 2 points. So what must we know in order to get the slope of the line, right? Because we always need the slope and slope-intercept. Here we had it, here we had it, here we don't. So to find the slope, ever since last chapter, all you need is 2 points. So see, that's what they gave us. So even though they didn't give us a slope, we're going to be able to find the slope with the 2 points. Given 2 points, what's the formula for calculating the slope? That's this y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's the slope formula, right? And then once we have the slope, how can we put the slope into slope-intercept form? That's still y equals mx plus b, right? Alright, so let's do an example here. Alright, so this example says, write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form that goes through the points -1, 5 and 3, -3. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. Step 1. First thing we have to do is find the slope, because no matter what, whenever we write the equation, we always got to have the slope. It's like the most important part of the line. Okay? So this is where we're going to do the y minus the y and the x minus the x. Okay? And remember, there's two ways you can do this, right? I'll even do it both ways. It doesn't matter which one you plug in first, but whichever point I plug in first, I got to plug it in first on the top and the bottom, right? So I'm going to do this one first. Okay? So I'm going to do the y minus the y first. The y of the first point is 5 minus the y here is, even though that's a minus, I still got to put the -3 after it. And then I'm going to do the x minus the x, still putting this one first. -1 minus 3. And if I do that, 5 minus -3, put that in your calculator. But that'll turn out to be 8. -1 minus 3 is -4. If I type that in, I get a -2. Okay? Now, I'll do the same thing, but now I'll plug this one in first. And it'll still work. I'm going to do the y minus the y, but now this y first. -3 minus 5. Then I'm going to start here. +3 minus this x, -1. And this will give me -3 minus 5 is -8. 3 minus -1 will be 4. If I type that in, I'll still get a -2. So either way, it doesn't matter. My slope is -2. Alright, so let me just put that here. The m is -2. So now, this is where we're going to kind of tie in the last video. Step 2 says use the slope. We just found that, right? And one of the given points to put into slope-intercept form. Then solve for the missing variable, which is b. So basically, now that we have the slope and these points, we're going to do exactly what we did on the last video. Now I've broken this into 2 boxes to show that there's, once again, 2 different ways you can do this. Alright, so, and just to prove to you it's okay either way, we'll work it out 2 different ways. So here's what I mean again. So we're going to plug it into the y equals mx plus b, right? So I'm going to use this point first, okay? I'm going to use, so right now my m is, we said that was -2, right? and it goes through this point, -1, 5. See, now it's just like last chapter. Ugh. I got the slope, and I have a point. So I'm going to plug this information in here. The y is 5 equals mx, the m is -2, the x is -1 plus b. And remember, this is where I solve for my b, because I got the slope, now I need the b or the y-intercept. So now it's 5 equals -2 times -1 is +2 plus b. Solve for b, get it by itself. Get rid of this 2 by doing -2, always doing it on both sides. 5 minus 2 is 3 equals b. Okay, so I got my slope, now I got my b, right? But just to show you I can do it the other way, I'm going to do the same thing, except now I'm going to try it with the second point. So my slope is still -2, right? That's what I did the first step. But now I'm going to do the slope of -2, and it goes through the second point, 3, -3. Just like before, I'm going to plug all this, my m, my x, my y in here. So now my y is a -3 equals mx plus b. M is -2. Now the x is 3. Solve for b. This side's done. -2 times 3 is -6 plus b. Get b by itself by getting rid of this -6. Opposite of that is +6 or +6. Always doing it on both sides. -3 plus 6 is +3. So the point I'm trying to make to you here is, doesn't matter which point you use. You take the slope, you take one of the points, and now it's like last video. Either way, you'll get the same b. So now after all that, got my m, got my b. Write your final answer in y equals mx plus b form. So it's y equals, slope was -2, x, y-intercept is +3, and just like that, we're done. Okay, so to recap here, starting off, we gotta always have the slope, right? The last two videos, they gave us the slope. Here they didn't. Gave me 2 points. I used that to find my slope. Once I have my slope, I use that slope in one of the points, doesn't matter which one, plug it in, solve for your b. Now that you got your m, now that you got your b, you can write the equation of the line in the slope-intercept form, just like that. Alright, so let's do a few practice problems here on the next page. Alright, so for all these, we want to write the equation in slope-intercept form that goes through these two given points. Alright, so number 1, we got 0, 1, -2, -1. So let's start off by finding our slope first. Now just remember, you can do it a slightly different order, right? I'm just going to start with this point first. So I'm going to do my y minus my y, 1 minus -1, and then my x minus my x, keeping this one first, 0 minus -2. Now if I use my calculator, 1 minus -1 will be 2 over 0 minus -2 is 2, and that final slope is 1. Okay, so that is my m. Maybe we'll make a little note here, m equals 1. Very important, right? Now I'm going to plug this in and one of the points. I'm just going to pick the first point again. Remember what we on the first page we showed, it doesn't matter which one. Okay, so now I'm going to plug in my x, y, and my m. So now y is 1 equals mx plus b. My m is 1 because we found it. The x is 0. That side's done. 1 times 0 is 0 plus b. b plus 0, it's like it's not even there, right? So here my b is 1. So now I'm going to take all this. There's my m. There's my b. So in slope-intercept, it's y equals mx plus b. If you want, you can just write 1x as x plus 1. Either way, it's okay. Alright, let's try another one. So now I got these 2 points. So first thing I need, gotta have that slope. So I'm going to do this point first again. So y minus y. 5 minus negative 1. And then 5 minus 4. 5 minus negative 1 is 6. 5 minus 4 is 1. That slope will be 6. Okay? That's my m. Halfway there. Now I'm going to get my b. How do I get my b? I'm going to plug in my m, my x, and my y, and I'm still going to use the same one. You can use the other one if you choose. Alright, but in this case my y is 5. mx plus b. M is 6. X is 5. So now it's 5 equals 30 plus b. Get the b by itself by doing minus 30. 5 minus 30 is negative 25 plus b. Alright, so I got what I need. Whoops, that should be an equals. Got my b, got my m, so let's put into slope-intercept. Y equals mx, and in this case it's minus 25 because my b is a negative 25. Just like that. Alright, 2 more. I want the equation of the line that goes through these 2 points. I'm just going to keep doing it the same way. I'm going to use this point first, so y minus y. 2 minus negative 5. X minus x. 0 minus 1. 2 minus negative 5 using your calculator, but that'll give me 7. 0 minus 1 is negative 1. And negative 7. That's my slope. So my m equals negative 7. Well, now that I got my m, I'm going to use this point with my x and my y. And I'm going to plug it in to get my b. So in this case, my y is 2 equals mx plus b. M is negative 7. And then the x is 0. So 2 equals, that times that is 0 plus b. And the 0 doesn't mean anything, right? So just b equals 2. So here we are. There's my b, there's my m. Let's plug it in. Y equals mx plus b. So that's the equation of that line. Okay? Alright, and lastly, so to go through these 2 points, 5, negative 2, 4, 5. Let's get that slope first. Always going to start with here, negative 2 minus 5. And that's going to be 5 minus 4. Negative 2 minus 5 is negative 7. 5 minus 4 is 1. Oh, got the exact same slope as the last one. So I still have a slope of negative 7. Well, now let's go get our b. Plug in the m, plug in the x and the y. I'm still going to use the first point. You can use the second if you want on your own. Alright, so here the y is negative 2 equals mx plus b. The m is negative 7. The x is 5. So now it's negative 2 equals negative 7 times 5 is negative 35 plus b. Solve for b. Opposite of negative 35 is plus 35. b is alone. Negative 2 plus 35 is positive 33. Alright, so just like that, if we have y equals mx, our m is negative 7x, and now the y-intercept is positive 33. Alright, and so that's how you find the equation of a line when all they give you is 2 points. Okay, so to recap it, first thing you got to do is you got to get your slope. The slope is like the most important part of the line. Alright, so find your slope. Once you have the slope, you take one of these points, and then it's just like last video. Plug in the m, plug in the x and the y, get your b. Now that you got the m and you got the b, it's like the very beginning of the chapter. Plug it into slope-intercept and you're done. Alright, so take some time and try some practice on your own here.